Welcome to Once Upon a Real Life with Belle, and this is a podcast about real life, just as it is. Each episode is an honest conversation about the moments that challenge us and sometimes surprise us. No filters, no pretending. Quick thanks to the show sponsor, ActiveFlex. If you're looking for pain-relieving gel with long-lasting relief for painful muscles and joints, you can use my discount code, BELLE10, for 10% off. Just visit alphasport.com.au. Let's begin today's episode. Today's conversation is with two people who didn't build the Lighthouse from theory. They built it from lived experience, pain, courage, and an unwillingness to stay silent. Both Pete and Belinda have their own stories. Pete's a man who has lived inside prison walls and whose life was once saved because his mother made the unthinkable choice. She submitted to violence to protect her child. Those experiences didn't harden him into silence. They forged him into someone who refuses to look away from the epidemic of domestic violence, particularly violence against women. Belinda, former prison officer, has her own story to tell, and in fact, she is Peter's lighthouse. This is also a love story. Together, they are loud in their voices, unapologetically so. Through disruption, Pete calls other men to stand up. He is tough, strong, and he is relentless in calling for women to be believed, not managed, not doubted, not silenced. Peter and Belinda created the Lighthouse, a place built on protection, accountability, and real support. It's a space for women to feel safe and seen and held. This isn't a comfortable conversation, and it shouldn't be. But it's an important one, and spaces like the Lighthouse don't just change lives, they save them. Welcome, Peter and Belinda.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for being here today. When I read through what the Lighthouse does for women, it is needed. Congratulations, firstly, on opening the Lighthouse. And secondly, I just want to hear both of your stories. Who should we start with?
The Lighthouse is for women only. It's a place we've built where women can be themselves, they can feel protected. It's hosted by Belinda. I don't go into the Lighthouse, it's just strictly women. It's a place that where women can lift each other up. We're asking for survivors to come and join us in the Lighthouse. Currently there's nothing for women. It's a piece of paper and men are just walking straight through it, so that's why we've built it.
So the piece of paper you're speaking about a protection order?
Protection orders, yeah. Yep.
So it's a piece of paper,
yep,
and men walk through it.
Straight through it, yep.
What about ankle monitors?
Well, clearly, with the statistics of one woman dying in Australia every 8 days, clearly ankle monitors aren't working. Clearly the legislation they've currently got isn't working. We've just seen another horrible incident 2 days ago in New South Wales of a mother who was pregnant and shot, who had a order in place, and there's a systematic failure. There needs to be change. There needs to be a royal commission into this. There needs to be a white paper, and men need to start standing up and saying that they recognise what these women are going through, because on a couple of my videos, I've called out to men to put a signal in the comments to let the women know that they're there and they support them. And we get the analytics we can see who watches our videos. And at one stage, we had 70% of men view our videos, and we got 3 hearts in the comments.
Yeah.
And it's all just women, and
they scrolled on.
And and there were some good men, and I acknowledge them, and I have great respect for the men that did say something and did put a heart in there. And but to me, it's cowardice. It is cowardice to know that this is happening to our women. It's just heartbreaking when you see what's actually going on. How many women are sleeping in cars with their children? How many women have been turned away because there's not enough funding? But yet the government can come up with $440,000 for this Deloitte paper that they've done recently, $3.8 billion for a stadium they're building in 2032, but they haven't got enough money for these women. It's like we need to rise as a community and stand together and say together that we don't accept this. We don't accept it.
And I think you've hit the nail on the head. I think it starts with men standing up, and I think it starts with, you know, some men, maybe they don't have a best mate, maybe they don't have someone that they would feel comfortable talking to about their feelings. You know, it would be amazing to see if we could step back in time, what could have been done by the people around that person, because I think we can't expect the government to individually seek out people. It needs to be the responsibility of us. It needs to be the responsibility of men. And it makes me a little bit ashamed to see that men are scrolling. And then I watched some of your videos, Peter, and I saw that men and women would write, "It's not all men."
Exactly.
Well, no one said that it was.
That's right.
But you tell me, how many men are scared at night getting out of their car, or are scared home alone, or are scared in situations that a man wouldn't even blink to be in?
That's right.
The situation between men and women is completely polar opposites. And for the men just to think, oh, it's not me, I don't hurt my girlfriend,
Yep.
makes them the problem.
It does make them a problem because in one of my videos I speak about men. We go to bars, we go to parties, and men talk about, if I saw a man do this to a woman, I'd do this and I'd smack him and I'd put him in his place and I'd do this and I'd do that.
They're words.
Words are wind. Like, that's all they are. Like, there's such bravado in public, but a lot of men know this is going on with their mates and their partners, and no one says nothing. No one says nothing. They don't want to upset the apple cart, but our silence is what perpetuates this. Like, men need to be called out. They need to be called out, and there needs to be.
And let's just put a little scenario. Say you're at the pub with your mates and your girlfriends, or you're at a party, whatever, and you see your mate talk down to his wife or girlfriend in front of people. Call him out then and there.
100%.
Right? So, oi, hey, did you just say that to her? Like,
100%.
and then later on back it up, get them aside and go, hey, are you okay? I noticed you spoke to your girlfriend like that.
Yep.
Are you going okay? Like,
Yep.
like that wasn't cool, mate. Like, so you're not just embarrassing them so that they'll go home and you know, take it out on the girlfriend. You've backed it up with a conversation, but it's, are you okay? What's going on?
Yeah, that's right.
Are you guys okay? Is she happy? You know, is she happy with you?
Yep.
That would be a huge question and confronting for someone who's being domestically violent at home, surely.
That's right. They need to know that what they've been done is seen.
Yeah.
They've been noticed, and
Or even, mate, you know she doesn't have to stay with you. I'd treat her better if I were you.
that's right.
Right? So then you're flipping the switch in his brain from the ownership that he obviously thinks that he has to, oh shit, my best mate's telling me I don't own that chick. Shit, maybe I don't.
That's right.
I don't know if it'll work. I don't know. I'm just trying to think of ways to get through to people that they don't own another human being.
Well, I think what it needs to start with is us as a country and us as men recognising and acknowledging there is a problem. The statistics are there. This is happening.
And it's not like there weren't signs.
That's right.
The mates around him or the acquaintances or work people around him, it's not like they all went, what? Where did this come from? They would have seen or heard things that made them look twice.
And there's patterns and the conversations that men have and the way they talk about women in conversations, and if they put their partner down, like they're all warning signs.
Yeah.
Like, if a man bags his woman in public in front of his mates, that's a red flag. That's a warning sign right there. Like, if he's doing
Imagine what he's like behind closed doors.
Exactly. And a lot of these people have charisma and they have charm and they fool everyone, and then when the woman does speak up, she's the one that gets victimised from it because he's a good bloke,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
So
he helped me move house, or he helped
that's
me do
right.
this or
Or
that, or got me a job,
he's
whatever
he's
this may be.
he's the manager at the football club or whatever excuse. But it's us men need to rise together, and we need to hold a united front and start standing up for our women and acknowledging what's going on, because it is an epidemic.
Oh, yeah.
It's terrible what's happening.
And it's amazing what strength women have and what they can put up with until they can't anymore. And I've seen women put up with a lot. And they are very good at hiding it from their friends. They're very good at covering for their partners. Yeah.
I have literally thousands of messages from women who are still in this situation right now or have escaped from this situation, and women who have been out of this situation for over 30 years who still jump when they hear a noise, because that's the damage that is being done. That's the damage this does.
To their nervous system.
Yep, and the damage it does to children, and unfortunately a lot of that gets passed on because the children don't know better, and their children watch their mothers. Not that the mothers accept it, because it's not the mother's fault in any way, shape or form, but a lot of them think that this is how dad used to treat mum, so they learn what they see. They follow in them footsteps. So
this is called generational trauma, and it's a cycle, and I've seen it be broken. I've seen it continue. I've seen both of those things. It can be done.
It certainly can be done. And truly ask yourself whether your family is scared when you walk into a room or you make them feel better, you know? And you need to genuinely ask yourself that question. And if you can truly look at yourself and ask that question and know that they feel safer when you're around, because I know as a child, the sound of my father's motorbike, as a child, we would hide, knowing that he was coming home. Or you could tell by his footsteps, or you could tell by, there shouldn't be an atmosphere like that. Your family shouldn't have to live in an atmosphere of he's moved. It's like a weather report. You're not sure what version you've got that day. So you're living with hypervigilance constantly, and that carries on all through your life.
Fight or flight.
Yep.
That should be a marketing campaign. How does your family feel when you walk in the door?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Wow. I wonder if that would even sink in.
Well, it's a question that men have to ask themselves. And for me, my life and where I've come from and what I've experienced, I had every excuse to be a monster. I've said this in a video. I've had a wild life as a child. What's happened to us explains us, but it doesn't excuse us. So
you can see the how. You can see the how it affected you. It changed your brain wiring.
Yep.
Right? It actually did.
100%,
right?
100%.
Right? And you recognised it.
Yep.
Tell me about your life story, Peter.
Okay, so I grew up in Logan, around Woodridge, Logan area, housing commission, alcoholic parents, violence every other night.
Toward each other, parents toward each other, or toward the children?
And us and
Yep.
children. I've
Yep.
got two brothers, one older, one younger. Horrific violence, and it was but violence that was out in the street, yelling, screaming, and he would bash her, and she would attack him, and it was just, we grew up around that. He's a very violent narcissist man. His excuse was because his father come back from World War II, and he's always leaned into generational violence. That's what his father did to him, and that's what his father's father did to him, and it's not an excuse. And
when this would be going on, mum and dad fighting, violence, what are you and your brothers doing?
we're hiding. We're trying to avoid it.
Together, all three of you together? Or?
Initially, it was myself and my older brother for the worst of it. By the time my youngest brother was born, at 13, I'd run away from home. At 10 years old, my mother repeatedly tried to leave him, repeatedly. And he would threaten to burn the house down. He would threaten to kill us kids. He would threaten and kill her family. He isolated her. He distanced her from her family. He managed every single part of her life. She wasn't allowed to wear makeup. She wasn't allowed to have friends. She never had her own car. If she needed to go somewhere, he would take her. And every night after a fight, she'd come into the room to us kids crying and promises that she's going to leave and it would be different. And us kids would get so excited thinking, finally, you know. And then the next day, this is the gaslighting part. The next day you would wake up and they'd be out in the kitchen drinking a coffee together, laughing and giggling, and you'd come out and she'd have a black eye, and the house would be smashed up, but you would be expected to just forget what happened the night before. And you start questioning your own memory and you start thinking...
Well, that's gaslighting you.
It is. And so at 10 years old, my mother, this was probably her first real attempt to leave him. She packed, but they had a big fight. She'd packed her bags, and I remember I was home. It was just my other brothers weren't home at the time, but she was packing her bags and they were fighting back and forwards, and he's disappeared. And she's got her bags packed and she's in the bedroom and I'm standing in the hallway, and she's come out into the hallway and he's come up into the house with a 20-litre jerry can of petrol and just started dousing the house in petrol. And then he come up to me and he poured petrol all over me, and then he got the lighter and he said, if you leave, I'm going to fucking set you all on fire. And so she submitted. That's what she did. She submitted. She put her bags back away. I got sent to my room, had a shower, got sent to my room. Next morning, come out, the carpets had been ripped up. And again, they were sitting in the kitchen, drinking a coffee. The world reset. And that never got spoken about again. That night never got spoken about again.
Did you tell your brothers?
They knew about it.
Was school a safe place? Could you tell somebody at school?
School wasn't a safe place. I was abused by a teacher at school, a male teacher. So I wasn't safe at home and I wasn't safe at school. And back then, the police would come, and so like a neighbour would call the police or something like that, and we would be given a script to say to the police when they come. And Mum would be standing there with a black eye or blood coming out of her mouth, and the police would come and they'd go, oh, it's just nothing, you know. Like Mum would say whatever she had to say, and if we got spoken to by the police, which rarely happened back then...
You'd back her story.
We'd have to say exactly what was said, you know, because if you don't, once they go, it's going to be a hell of a lot worse. So you towed his line. Whatever it was that he said is what went on. So round 13, I run away.
Where'd you go?
Streets.
Of Woodridge?
Yeah, Logan, Woodridge.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when an older bloke, I hooked up with other street kids who come from the sort of same backgrounds. I'm still friends with one of them now.
Yeah.
A few of them have died over the years, but
I can just imagine you guys being able to see each other, like.
And that's was the first, I think, real family I had. We lived on the streets. We protected each other. If one of us ate, all of us ate.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, you just would have been, like, bonded.
We were, yeah, and we'd sleep underneath bus shelters. Middle of winter, we sleep. There used to be a butcher, and they had the air conditioning units out the back of it, and the heat coming from them would curl up on top of that for warmth, and people would come and go. There was a core group of four of us, younger boys, and other blokes would come and go, but there was an older bloke who used drugs, and he shot me up when I was 13 years old with heroin and then meth. And I sort of, for me, it was the first time that it took the pain away, it took the noise away. I wasn't using for joy, I was using because it was anaesthetising me.
To forget.
Yeah, it stopped the noise in my head and stopped what was happening.
Yeah.
And that just led me down another road of just...
How old do you think he was?
He would have been 18 or 19 years old.
And did you end up becoming a customer of his?
No.
I'm just trying to work out his motivation.
I think because we were kids and we were doing street crime and we were making money, and I think he obviously, whatever issues he had, because he was we were kids, young kids, and he was basically a man at that stage, hanging around kids. So obviously he had his own issues going on, but we were making money, so we could
him.
Well, we could get money to buy drugs that we could all have. So,
And it was just
looking
for customers.
Yeah, that just opens another tragic doorway once you have a drug addiction. It's just, and then that went on for 3 or 4 years.
Look at you today.
Yeah, it's been a hard journey. So when I turned 18, I met a girl, and she fell pregnant. Our baby was born 3 months premature. So she was in intensive care at the Mater Mothers Hospital for 3 months on life support. She had machines, and I still had a drug habit, but I was working at the time as well. And it just, I was never had a role model to show me how to be a man or how to be a good father, and one thing led to another, and a horrible night happened, and I ended up going away to jail for 14 and a half years for something that happened. I was charged with a murder when I was 19 years old, which later got overturned to a manslaughter. I ended up getting the longest sentence in Queensland history at that time for manslaughter. Unfortunately, a man lost his life over just stupidity, just absolute stupidity, you know. And I had to face the consequence for that, and I did. And I was just determined to change the man I was and the man like my father was. Everything the greatest lesson my father ever taught me was to not be like him. I hated him for everything he did and the way he was, and I just wanted to change that. I just wanted to be the opposite to that. So I went into prison uneducated. I couldn't read.
Did your daughter survive?
She did survive, yeah. She did survive, yeah. Yep, I couldn't read. I couldn't write. I was a 19-year-old kid into maximum security. I basically spent my whole sentence in maximum security.
Were you a tough kid?
Yeah.
Were you able to protect yourself at 19?
At 19, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. But I was never about that in jail. I'm quiet by nature.
A loner or a group?
I'm a loner. Yep, I'm a loner. This is my crew right here.
We will get to Belinda.
Yeah.
Belinda is also in the studio.
Yeah. So I just, for the next decade in prison, I educated myself. I got my year 12. I learned to read. I did a lot of solitary confinement, and this is an important part because it's about doing kind things and how that can ripple on through people's life. I was in solitary, and I'd been there for maybe a month by this stage, and in solitary you've got nothing. You've just got the 4 walls, the toilet and a sink, and it's tiny little box. And officer, that they're not meant to, but an officer slid a encyclopedia through the slot to me. Yes. And I didn't know what to do with it to start with, but I loved the planets, the cosmos, anything to do with that. I love that, and it just so happened to be that part of the encyclopedia. So I started sounding the words out and just looking at the pictures.
So you taught yourself to read?
I taught myself to read, yeah. I took that encyclopedia back with me. I got a dictionary, and then I just started devouring books. I'd read a couple of books a week, a couple of novels a week, everything. And then I started, because I used drugs initially for the first period, of my sentence because drugs are absolutely rampant in the prison system. It's easier to get drugs in there than it is out here. And then I just got to a point where it was time to just stop and just get right.
How did you get to that point?
Because I would watch men. I served 14 and a half years, and there were men that served 14 and a half years in 6-month installments. So I'd come in for 6 months, they'd get out for a week, they'd come back, they'd do another 6 months, they'd get out, come back, and every time they'd come back, they'd be missing a tooth, their hair would be falling out.
You could see a visual timeline.
Yeah, and I knew what the
outcome was going to be.
What it was going to be. When I did eventually get out, everything that they said to not do when you get out of jail, I did. They said, don't go to shopping centres, don't do this. First day we found the biggest shopping centre and we went to it, and we just attacked all the things that just tried to change.
Can you explain that in a different way? What happened at the shopping centre?
Well, blokes, because they say institutionalised.
Right. And then you're set free, and what happens?
Well, you go to a shop, hypervigilance, because you're used to living in concrete.
Right.
You sell, go into a shopping centre, you got colour. There's no colours in jail. Anxiety and
right.
But for me, it wasn't too bad. We went to Dreamworld a couple of days after, and
that's big overwhelm.
Yeah, but yeah, it was a real shock. But back to the prison. So after about 8 years, I'd stopped using, and I just buckled down. I was going to get myself right and studied. I got my Cert 4 in fitness, and I just read. I love reading. I read all the Stoics. I just love reading. And then I started to get into a mentor role, helping younger blokes get off using drugs in jail, because it's so hard in there.
Did the prison support you doing that?
The prison started having a few programs, and then this is where I met my lovely wife, but they created a unit called the Drug Intervention Unit, and it was designed, what they did is they got a unit that was right away from the rest of the prison, and they locked it down. So there was the inmates in that unit couldn't move, and the other inmates couldn't get to that unit, so there could be no drugs passed.
This is reminding me of the TV series Oz.
Yeah.
You ever seen Oz?
No, I started watching it many years
ago.
ago.
Yeah, you wouldn't want to watch it, but it's got based very similar to that.
Yeah.
But it's more about rehabilitation of the behaviours rather than the drug use. But they lock down a particular part of the prison, and they call it Emerald City, which is why it's called Oz. Yep. Don't you watch it, actually? No to you watching it.
Yeah, okay. And it wasn't just about the drug use, it was about behaviours as well. They would have the officers come and sit and have lunch with us, management would come down and have lunch, and we'd all sit at a table together and try and break that culture and and they'd have NA meetings, they'd have counsellors come in, and that's when Belinda started at the prison, and because of Belinda's personality, coming from retail, she's really good with people. They put her down into that unit because
she can connect.
Yeah. And a lot of the guys in there are detoxing, and they're volatile, and they'll explode in a heartbeat over just...
But she's got the gift.
She's got the gift, and like a lot of officers got assaulted from just not knowing how to deal with men who are detoxing, and Belinda knows how to treat someone like a human being, and that's all it takes. It's just
just got to get on their level.
Yeah,
you do. You just got to get on whoever you're with, meet them where they are. That's right.
Yep. And so Belinda became the Drug Intervention Unit officer, and I was a mentor. I'd come up and I'd do meetings with the boys. We'd do NA meetings. Would do courses.
Did it become quite popular with the younger inmates?
No, it was a little bit frowned upon by upper management. Management didn't like it because they thought like it was set up by counsellors there, and as they didn't like it because they just wanted prisoners to be treated like prisoners, locked away.
So they're not about rehabilitation
It's a,
or bettering
We're-
our
prisons
society
are-
once the prisoners are released.
prisoners are a commodity. So if they don't come
Oh.
back, if they don't come back to prison,
They don't have
make
the
money.
numbers, so
That's
they
right.
don't get the money from the government. Stop it.
So
Really?
well, it's a sad.
Is it just another part of the state government broken?
Yeah, like it's like a personal trainer. You're no benefit to them if you lose weight. They don't need you no more, you know. So if they rehabilitate you and you don't come back, they can't justify their prisons. So
And what about you, Belinda?
Well,
Hi, Belinda.
hello. Yeah, so when I first was appointed to the drug intervention unit, I felt really proud because, you know, it's not everyone that gets to go in there, and I was new to the system. So I finally got to have my own place in the system, I guess, that I could, you know, because we did lots of case notes and having to watch prisoners, and, you know, this all helps towards their parole if that was coming up, etc. So I guess it was about, you know, just looking at the behaviours and how to treat somebody. And I felt that going in there, because I did come from retail, yes. My father was an officer himself in the days of the Bogger Road. So I guess I just had that, you know, in me. And look, I never was one of these officers that would have a look and see what each prisoner had done to commit their crime to be in prison.
So they were all blank pages?
To me, they were.
Yeah.
I never, even when I would do like interviews with prisoners,
You wouldn't
I
see their
wouldn't ask
history or their
No,
charges?
No, because I think that when you do that, you then draw a picture of who
It's a
that
perception.
person
You've
is.
built that
Exactly,
now, yeah.
To me, working in there was about correcting behaviours to
Well,
begin
that's
with.
what it's called. Well, that's a big one.
It is. It is.
Corrections.
And I did say that to a lot of officers that I did see do some things that I didn't think was right. But I guessed that what I did was looked at them as a human being, because they are already being, they're already in jail and serving time.
Yeah.
And that's what has to happen
Yeah.
for them to then be released. So I guess to me it was about just getting to know the person, who they are, treating them like a human being. I even respected a lot of them. Obviously, if I was spoken to in a manner that I didn't like, I would say something,
Yeah.
stand my ground. So I felt that I built loyalty and respect from a lot of the prisoners because I did that. And I didn't cop any shit, so to speak, either. But just being a human being to them, like just being someone that was, you know, like a mother figure, a sister figure, you know, like just to make them feel comfortable to be able to talk to me as well or come to me. I did have one or two men that were afraid for their lives as well. So
Because of another inmate?
yeah, because of another inmate, because a lot of things go on there that the outside world has no idea. They think that prisoners are too well looked after, but they're not. Like, if they've seen what I've seen, they are not. I mean, there is a few that come, like Peter said, they come in and out and in. It's their home, so to speak, and they laugh about it. But, you know, they're the ones that are ignorant of the officers that are trying to correct behaviours. But that's okay. It's their choice to make. But the ones that do listen, and I felt that I had a passion for the drug intervention unit because there was a lot of men in there, mainly a lot that were serving longer sentences, that truly wanted to be and make different choices, so to speak, and to come out and be a different person. Because,
Which
you
is
know,
huge.
and it
if,
is.
If it's like what Peter was just saying, like that's no life to, you know, you don't wake up joyous, do you? You're not hopping out of bed with a spring in your step. So being able to separate from drug use, that's huge.
Yeah.
Because sorry, I just want to say this because in there, for some guys, drugs are the only thing to look forward to.
Absolutely.
The whole-
I could see that.
Every moment is consumed by waiting for drugs.
Yeah.
and it's they come in with these addictions and they're not detoxed. You're lucky if they get a Valium to settle them down, and that's if you're very lucky. And detox sometimes lasts for weeks.
And, on the outside, they've probably got the same habits going on the outside, but they probably some of them won't have a bed or a roof or food, whereas if they can get back into jail, they've got all of it.
Yeah, and a lot of people, that's their identity. Like, they come in jail, everyone knows them. Like, it's
that's their family.
That's their family. That's all they've got. A lot of them haven't got family, and it's really sad.
Belinda, tell me about the first time you saw this bloke.
Well, the very first time I seen Peter was, he lived in the village at that time, and the counsellor that I worked closely with had a few of the prisoners down in the village come up as mentors that were long-serving prisoners that were wanting to help with the drug intervention unit to be mentors for.
And he was the best looking of the lot?
Look, I'm not going to lie. When I did see him, I went, oh, my God, stop, Belinda, already. Anyhow, it was just...
Would it be frowned upon?
Oh, absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Not only from... obviously officers, but from other inmates.
Yeah.
On
It's a jealousy thing from inmates, but because every inmate tries to get female officers when they can, and also staff get, because there's a real, like, it's like a lot of them staff have got seedy little scandals going on amongst each other, and there's and Belinda was warned about me by management because I'd done so long, and like they had briefed her to keep an eye on me, be aware of me. What would they say?
Because of what, Belinda? What were they saying about him?
Yeah, because they do their phone calls and everything.
I say. So you were starting a relationship, and that was the warning.
No.
Don't start a relationship.
Oh no. The warning was of so they used
He's
to
a
have,
bad egg.
Yeah, so like they, I think there's morning briefs and photos of particular prisoners up and head off. Yeah, they're of interest just due to drug. Like bringing in drugs and getting paid for it.
And you knew that he was in the program mentoring, and they were still warning people against him?
Yeah, look, I mean...
You had a target on your head, didn't you?
Yeah.
This podcast is supported by our friends at ActiveFlex, the Australian pain relieving gel designed for long-lasting relief for painful muscles and joints. Always read the label and follow the directions for use. If your symptoms persist, please seek advice from a healthcare professional. You can shop online at alphasport.com.au and use my special code, BEL10, BEL10. And that's just a little special code for you as a listener of the podcast, using the discount code at alphasport.com.au.
And look, but when I met him, when I met a lot of the prisoners, like I never really, like, it's not that I didn't listen to what I was being told. I would always listen, but I take on things for myself.
Yeah.
Right. And I'm not one of these, like a lot of people think, oh, she's naive for a few reasons, come from retail, blonde hair, like, do you know what I mean? Like I was stereotyped as well. But I had very good intentions. And to me, it was about correcting behaviours so that...
You took your job serious.
I actually really did. And I was very professional. I had a heart, and I felt that they deserved to have the best part of me in a way that I would support anything that they needed. Or
at the end of the day, that's your role.
Absolutely.
Right?
And this is what I said many a times.
If you looked at your job description, it's probably exactly that.
Many a times that I have arguments with other officers we used to always meet in the morning to have a brief. And just, like they were given, like they used to get forms that they would have to ask for things, request form. I seen many officers in their little fish ponds ripping those up after the prisoner would walk out. And I would just be heartbroken because...
So what was the request, for instance?
Okay. Well, in a particular I was given a request myself for a pillow. So when they first arrive, they're given a pillow, etc., bits and pieces. And a lot of newbies, they would call them, the other prisoners would probably take them off them, or they'd have no pillow. And I had one particular prisoner request one, and I actually went right out of my way. I left my unit and I went straight up to where they used to call it, what they used to call, I can't even remember, it's been that long ago, reception, and I requested it and they told me no. And I said, why? So I questioned them, I asked why, and they said, well, if you do that, then everyone's going to want a pillow. And I'm like, okay, well, what is the point of the request form? Why have we got pillows here? So if there's a pillow free, you will hand it over to me and I will take it to the person who's requested it. Because I got the pillow, I walked it down.
And then was there a pillow epidemic?
There was. The very next day I had a few men lined up with their pillow requests.
Yeah, but a lot of
And did you fill those pillow requests?
I did.
A lot of these men didn't have pillows.
That's right.
They'd be preyed upon by other blokes who'd
Yeah.
take their pillows.
Yeah.
Or,
It's a basic thing.
And it's not hard to be.
Look at the funding you just said goes into prisons. Surely a pillow.
Yeah, it's just and the office. Some officers would start to say Belinda was a crim lover because she was doing something humane. Like these poor blokes are sleeping with not all of them poor blokes. Like these are still human beings. They would have to sleep with no pillow. Like, come on, everyone deserves the right to sleep with a pillow, you know. But that put a target on Belinda's back with the officers. Oh, you're a crim lover. You know what I mean? Where most of them would just screw the form up and throw it in the bin, and nothing would ever be heard of it again.
So they wanted you to disrespect the prisoners. That's what they wanted from you.
Basically, yeah. So
Look down upon them.
I still refused it because I'm a person that, of course, I'm a human being myself, and I don't want people to think that, you know, bad of me. But at the same time, this was my unit, which I was controlling, and I felt that I'm going to do what I can in my power to make sure that what is done above board.
You're going to do your job.
Exactly. And a lot of them would sit in their little fish bowls and do absolutely nothing all day long.
Tear up requests.
It's disgusting.
I love that you said, what's the form for?
Exactly. So, so when Peter first arrived at my unit, again, yes, I was like,
Sparks flew.
Yes. But, you know, I watched him for many months, the way that he would be there for a lot of the men that were really struggling, because there's only so much I can do as an officer. Like, you know, I am there basically for security as well, and making sure that, you know, everything's running how it should. But I did watch him more than the others, just the way that, you know, the way that he would walk around them, and they'd really look up to him, and you know, even then he would do like a few like little fitness classes out in their yard with them, and really taught them how to, you know, like these days, like people go to gyms and they've got all the equipment they possibly could use, but prisoners don't have that, right? Because they could probably kill each other with it.
Yes.
So he used things and ways that, you know, just like mind bottled me. Like I was like, wow, like
You thought outside the box.
he did, and
Had plenty of time.
yeah, and I think that, you know, I would say at least half of the unit did give me a lot of respect and loyalty, and there was others that just, you know, oh, she's just the same, or some pretty face or whatever. But, you know, at the end of the day, like if I only helped one in there correct their behaviour, then I was happy with that.
I bet you corrected more than one.
Probably.
Probably. We still have many blokes now from that unit who still keep in contact with us and send birthday wishes to Belinda and Christmas wishes, and
You would have changed a lot of lives, Belinda.
And many men have said that.
Do you still work in the prison?
No. I guess how that come about was because Peter was transferred out of the some allegation stuff. But I felt that I had feelings for him. Not sure what they really were, but just feelings that I probably shouldn't be feeling, but it's just a natural thing, right? Look, I was in a long relationship, and it wasn't the best, and I knew it was ending, and I left that relationship as well as leaving the job. And I lived with my parents for a while, and I wrote, because Peter was transferred up to Maryborough, and I wrote him a letter, and I put my phone number on it, and I left it up to him to see.
Did you expect a letter?
Myself or Peter?
No, him. Peter, did you expect that letter in your letterbox? No. In your
Not
yourself?
at all. Not at all. So we had built a relationship because I was a mentor. I would go and speak to Belinda, and I'd just say, such and such is struggling a bit. Can we maybe get this from the medication, or can we get this or that? And we built a professional relationship,
right?
And she spoke to me as a human, and
so great respect was already built
on both sides. And for 12 years, that was the first time I'd been spoken to by a human, like a human, you know. And I guess nothing ever happened unprofessional while we were in the prison. I think we both noticed that
there was a connection.
Yeah. Stairs were holding a little longer than normal. And I'd look and she'd be looking, but we never crossed the line. We
look at him, just listeners. He's holding his heart while he's telling this story.
Because it is a beautiful story, and because I was a shithead at the start of my sentence. I got in a lot of trouble, a lot of fights, and
you were angry, mate. You were filthy angry.
I spent months and months in solitary confinement, and that reputation followed me to wherever I went. And so Intel had a hard on from me wherever I went, intelligence. So they always thought I was up to something, and I'd tried everything I could to show them that I was doing
Between us, what were you up to?
nothing.
See, look.
They fought by me by doing this mentor role. I was up there passing drugs to people or something like that, and then a mobile phone got found in another part of the prison, and I got moved out of the prison because of it. And
did you ever see that phone?
I never seen the phone. It was an entirely different part of the prison.
They just wanted you gone. That was just a cover.
They grabbed me. They moved me. I sat in solitary for 8 weeks.
And that would have made you angrier. It's like stirring an ant's nest.
You were used to it.
Anger wasn't. Yeah, I'd gotten rid of anger by that stage.
Well, you just come at me, guys. Like
there's nothing. Anger wouldn't have fixed anything, mate. It's just and this was right in the middle of when me and Belinda had started to become friends, and we had one conversation right before this happened, and Belinda, I left her unit. I told her that because we knew that we were starting to catch feelings for each other, and I said to her that I was going to leave the mentor unit because I didn't want to compromise her, and I didn't want any sort of drama on her, because I knew that I had a spotlight on me. So I said that I'm going to stop doing it, and I'm going to stay away because I don't want her getting in any sort of heat because of me. And she can tell you this next part.
Well, to be honest, I hated that because I thought I won't see him again. And I guess in my own head I was like, what am I thinking? Like, this is like a fairy tale. Like,
how could this work? Yeah.
You're an officer.
Yeah.
He still has, I think it was about 5 years still to go. Like, I'm in a shitty relationship that I'm leaving anyway. Is it just, like all these things go through your mind. But I guess that it was for the best that he did. And when he did actually, because I even had an officer come to me, which he was my partner, and said to me that Intel was saying that keep an eye on me with Bates. And I'm like, what? Like, we did nothing at all because I saw hold that standard of myself and would never cross the line. So I thought when he said that,
Time to leave.
that was a conversation too that we had, and he said no, like, because things could happen, right?
Yeah.
And we didn't want that to, because he didn't want that to happen to me, and I didn't want to, like, this is my job and I take pride in what I do, so it's best. So we did. He left and then he was transported out not long after that, and I decided to then look at my own life, and because of those feelings, or that, because I felt that even all the communication we ever had, I thought, this man, he's trying so hard to help these people, from conversations we've had. Like, I didn't know a lot about his childhood, but I didn't even know at that stage what he actually had done, the crime. But I learnt that what he was doing was genuine, because he'd been there as a drug addict, and he didn't want people to, like, I wasn't going to swear then, I'm sorry, but he didn't want others to fuck their lives up too, because we all have choices. And I felt, you know, because there's a lot of men in there that couldn't speak to me because I was an officer, and some of them just, they can't do it. So his job was to talk to him, and then he would report to me, and then I would then write their case notes and submit them. So we were working together really well, and we come from different worlds, and it was just amazing, the connection of the friendship, which probably was called, well, I was called a crim lover, but, you know, like, I didn't really care what people thought. I knew I was doing a good thing. And
they were
and the
already
right
judging
thing.
you regardless.
Absolutely.
Regardless.
So, like, I'm not afraid of confrontation, so I guess come at me. And I know that I genuinely was caring for these men that have had a really shit life, and they're made really poor choices because of those.
But they're paying for those choices.
Absolutely. They're paying for it every day. And I used to say this to a lot of officers. Are you a correctional officer here to correct behaviours, or are you just here for security reasons? Like, to me, I'm here for a bigger thing, and that was to correct their behaviours and teach them and let them make choices that are different from what they're making, so they can stop coming in and out, because this life you're living in here is shit. Like, there's so much more life, you know? And I'd hear them screaming at their mothers, their missus, slamming down phones, and I'd pull them aside and, like, what is wrong? What's happened, you know? And it's just because they're in there, they're stuck in there, and they've got no control over anything. So when Peter and I were communicating a lot because of what we had to do, I mean, I never went for, like, a man like Peter. Like, it was completely, like, wow. But I thought a man like him wouldn't go for a woman like me, and as we found out, he felt the same way. He's like, I don't think a woman like you would go for a man like me. So it had a lot to do with the connection we had deeper than that. So I left the corrections and wrote the letter and sent the phone number. So
now what happened when you received the letter? Did you just run to the phone and ring her?
I nearly fell over. It made me feel, you know what, it made me feel feelings that I had never felt, is all through my childhood, all through, to know that someone genuinely, the words like Belinda said, like, she told me I was a good man, and she wanted to come and visit me, and she gave me a phone number, and I
Look at his face smiling.
and that smile stayed on my face for about the next 4 years.
You still got the letter?
Yeah, we got all our letters. Yeah, we got shoe boxes full of them. But so it takes a day or two to get the number on. But I think I had a good officer up there who fixed it up straight away for me. And
there was a number wrong.
No. It's just to get a number on, you have to put a request form in.
Oh, hang on, a number on means
So
you're allowed to connect with this person.
Yeah, so there's you got.
So you're limited as to who you can contact.
Yeah,
Got
well, you
it.
can't just dial a number. You
Okay.
have to get a number entered into the system.
Yeah.
And then
I'm with you now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
on the phone system, it has to be approved for a request form.
And so this guy pushed it through.
he got it through for me, and then so that was the start. And then for the next 4 years, we built a relationship based on communication, on 6-minute phone calls and letters. And Belinda drove every week for 4 hours there and 4 hours back to Maryborough to visit me behind glass to start with. They put us on glass visits because of where Belinda was an ex-officer. They made it hard. They made it real hard.
Yeah,
They put up every barrier they could.
they did.
And but they just forged their relationship for us. They did us a favour. And then it got to a point where at Maryborough I grabbed the general manager of the prison on the pathway, and I said to him that, you know what you're doing, because everyone else is getting contact visits, and I said, you know what you're doing, that this is unfair, you're doing this because Belinda was a correctional officer. And he said it's true, and he said that if they had a flagship course they were running at the prisons to make them, it was another drug course, and he said if you do the mentor course, if you be the mentor and drag a heap of young blokes through with you, he goes, you can have contact visits. And I went, all right then. So I did the course and I got the young blokes in there and we all completed it. And then after, how long, there would have been about 3, nearly 4 months, we've got our first contact visit. So, which was
amazing.
Which was
I
pretty
bet it
special.
was. I
Yeah.
bet it was. And then, okay, so now let's fast forward to you're out.
Yep.
You're together. Things are good. What year would this be? 2014, 2015?
So, so July 2014 I was released.
Yep.
We were married in January 2015. We've been married 11 years now.
Congratulations.
Thank you. We
Amazing.
just recently had our anniversary.
And what did you do with yourself?
So when I first come home, I hit the ground running. I started working. I started brickies labouring, and then I started working at a factory welding because I can weld. I learned how to weld in prison. Started working doing that, and then I started working with a bloke as a brickies labourer, and then he dropped a purchase order on the ground one day. And I looked at it and I seen how much he was getting paid for building these houses. And I said to Belinda, I said, he's made $10,000 building this house. I said, if he can do this, I can do it. So I got myself qualified as a bricklayer. And then we started our own business. And then within 12 months of that, we had 15 staff working for us. We turned over $1 million in the first year. We were pumping. And then COVID hit. And just
So you had 5 good years, 4 good years,
4 good years, yeah.
and then COVID hit.
Yeah, we brought a house. We've done everything.
Building stopped in 2020.
The world just shut down, and because I got out with so much momentum, I had this shadow behind me, and because the world stopped, it sort of caught up with me, you know. I had time to sit around, and just idle hands breed mischief, and unfortunately I relapsed back into drug use because I felt like I was letting Belinda down, and our daughter Isabella, I felt like I was letting her down because we've gone from making so much money and doing so well and everything was perfect. We brought the house, we put the pool in, we were pumping, we were doing really good, and then I just felt like I was letting them down. I just got so dark. I got to a point where I was sitting in a shed with a rope in my hand, thinking that my family would be better off without me, that I'd failed as a man. And that's when my beautiful staffy come and sat between my legs and leaned his head back into me, and it was at that moment he stopped me from what I was going to do. I was going to do. So, and then the next day, because I couldn't stop using it, I was back in addiction. I'd put myself back into full addiction. I tried everything. And I'm the strongest man I know, and I can quit anything. I get up every morning at 4 o'clock and train. I can go on a diet and not eat any, I'm very disciplined in every aspect of my life.
But this had me
by the throat, and I could not break free.
Can I ask what your choice was? What was it?
Using meth.
Meth, yeah.
Yeah, I could not stop, and it was just so insidious and so.
And Belinda, were you aware of it?
I was aware that he had started, but I didn't realise how much he was doing it.
Can you see it in him when he's using?
Yeah, he would stay out in our shed.
Yeah.
Look, it got to a point where when I fully understood how deep he was, I didn't know about the rope until, afterwards. But I honestly felt that I had no one, or didn't know, or there is nothing for a person in this situation on where to go, what to do, how do I fix this?
So what did you do?
Look,
you gave him grace, did you?
I loved him. Well, I love him so much, and I know from what has happened in his life and then our life together that being without him was not an option. And I just stood by him. So I felt that I just carried, I kept working, I kept, just making sure he was okay.
She'd feed me.
Feed him.
Because I constantly tried to detox.
Yeah.
And when I'd detox, I'd sleep for a week, and she'd wake me up with food, and she was my lighthouse. That's where Lighthouse come from, because I was lost at sea. I was truly lost at sea, and Belinda was the only reason. I knew there was safety there with her, and she was unwavering. Her strength is what kept me going, kept me here. So.
Yeah, I just believed that, just like I did when I had to wait all those years for him. Because that was hard.
Yeah, this time at least he's there with you. You're
is.
waiting, but he's there.
And I guess being a part of the past that I knew about, drug habits and stuff, that I'm not going to lie, I was pretty scared. Because I thought, well, is this my life now? What am I going to do? I can't speak to anyone. I don't know where to go. There's nothing out there for women in my situation. Never once did I ever think I was a victim of it. It was just, how do I fix this? And I do talk about, not being that woman that's, asking for ultimatums. It's you just need to be there and be beside them and help them, tell them that you're still there, and just support them. I did go through this many times with Peter. He'd relapse again. He'd get off it again and again, and every time I thought, oh my God, I've got to go through this again, and am I going to be okay again this time?
But also, I can imagine how you felt about yourself each time you did that relapse.
Yeah, that's right, because it's just like I said, I feel like I got so much discipline and control over myself, and with this, it was, I would get clean, I'd get some clean time up, and then...
Was there a trigger?
Well, getting that clean time up, and I would convince myself that, oh, you've done good, you've got
congratulations.
6 weeks up. Exactly, congratulations, you deserve one, you'll be right.
You'll be right up.
And then you can just go through this again.
And that's
it's a roller
and
coaster.
that's a cycle, and and it wasn't until I understood that, and that you're not rewarding yourself. You're destroying everything around you when you do this. And it wasn't until I guess the penny dropped with that, and I understood what I was doing. And but during that time, that's where a lot of what we do now was forged as well, because like Belinda had no one to talk to.
So someone in Belinda's shoes can go to the Lighthouse.
Oh, 100%, 100%, yeah, 100%. It's a lot of it's about like I'm gonna try and get a lot of videos in there about understanding patterns and what we do and why we do them and why we think certain ways and why we do certain things. It's like
So Lighthouse is a safe haven for women to come,
yes,
to escape DV, to get support and talk about it, to get support and help if their partner is going through something like Peter, addiction.
Yep.
Where is it located?
No, it's an online community that we've built.
Even
Yeah,
better.
yeah, it's
Even
online,
better.
And we've already spoken to a lot of people, but we're going to, like I said, DVs, people that work with DV. We're going to get people who work in the addiction area, trauma counsellors. We're trying to get as much support in there as we can, and just the we want the community to look after each other. We don't want to be saying you do this or you do that. We want it to be like its own organism where
You've got autonomy.
a sisterhood.
Yeah,
you know?
a sisterhood.
Yeah, where and.
Imagine if you could have went on the Lighthouse every day
absolutely.
and had somebody to talk to, Belinda.
Exactly. And you know, sorry,
No, you go.
Belle, I have to say that I am very close with my mother.
Yeah.
And I have a cousin who is like my sister, and I felt that I could not even tell them what was going on.
This was just for you.
And
You
if
carried this.
Exactly. And if I had something like we are trying to build now, I would have felt that it would have helped me a lot more than how I coped. Like, I know I'm at the other end now and I coped through it. Like, I'm not saying I'm no professional, but
you've walked it, Belinda.
I've walked it,
you've
and
lived it. You've seen it. You've
exactly.
worked it.
Yes.
All of these things.
And I really, really have a passion for wanting to help other women that feel that way, because you feel so alone and you feel helpless and you don't know what to do, you don't know where to go, who to speak to. You know, the man or the woman of your dreams is falling away and you don't know how to help. You know, a lot of people feel they got to walk away, and that's the worst thing you can do.
That would be the worst case scenario, like for you guys. Peter, how did you get help? Did you reach out to somebody?
Yeah, well, being like living the life I've lived, everything's always been independent. I've always relied on myself for everything, and I've been around drug rehabilitation most of my life, all through prison. Like I said, I was a mentor. I could quote the text better than the counsellors.
Yeah.
Like I'd sit in circles and the counsellors would be reading from a textbook, and I could quote
verbatim.
Yep, and I could quote what they were saying. Like I've done every drug course that's ever been made. I've done Narcotics Anonymous. I've done AA. I've done the 12 steps for all of them, and like I thought I had all the answers, and no one could. Like I thought, what could some kid tell me? But I ended up reaching out to Drug Arm at Richlands, and mate, it was the moment that changed my life. It was amazing. They
So you made a phone call?
I made a phone call and I said I need help. I asked for help, and for a man, asking for help is probably the hardest thing that you can do, because you feel that I'm a protector. I feel like no one needs to help me. I everyone else, and that's what we as men do. We don't reach out for help, you know. And the sad thing is my phone is full of ghosts, and these ghosts are men that I've known over the past decade who have gotten out of prison and who have overdosed and died. And I went through with Belinda as we were building this, and there's 30 men that I know that have died from overdose, from not knowing who to talk to or to having the just knowing that it's okay to ask for help. Like, it's, and I felt I had to because the option was turning the lights out, you know. So, and I couldn't do that to Belinda, and I couldn't do it to Isabella, and so I asked for help, and then we started, and just being able to get a perspective outside of my own, and it just, it was
life-changing.
It was life-changing. It was generational changing.
Wow.
Like, it's like, those guys at Drug Arm need a bit more credit for what they do too, you know. Like, they are doing a service that the community has no idea, like, what they're actually doing for people out there. Like, it's
needed.
It's definitely needed, and there's more resources need to be put there as well, you know.
Peter, is your dad still with us?
Yeah.
Have you seen him?
No.
Your mum's still with us?
Yep.
You seen her?
No.
You see your brothers?
I see my older brother, and I see my younger brother. I've been home how long? Over 11 years, and I haven't seen him. Last time I seen him, he was 15 years old.
Yeah.
So
I just want to say thank you, firstly. Thank you for being so loud. Thank you for standing up for women. Thank you, Belinda, for standing up. You know, at the end of the day, regardless of your Y or your X chromosomes, we're all humans.
that's right.
We need to protect each other.
We do.
Right? And I think that's the biggest thing, you know, for men to, I think women already do understand, right, Belinda, that
Yes.
we're all equals. We feel like we're all equals.
They do.
And I hope that men, and if you're listening and you're thinking, well, I'm not part of that, you need to be. We all need to be accepting of each other and respectful, and we need to stand up for women, man.
We do. We have a responsibility. We have a responsibility as men. Like, the statistics are there of what's happening to our women. Like, our women are being erased. Like, I've said it a few times, but one woman on average is being killed in a relationship every 8 days. That's someone's mum, sister, daughter, partner. And how is that acceptable? How can we just sit here quietly and allow that to happen? Like, and standing up and screaming, you know, like, I'm asking men to stand up and show women that we care.
Be loud.
Be loud. Like, get a platform. Big business needs to get behind this. Media,
Get those billboards on the roads
Exactly.
saying whatever it was you said at the beginning of this show, and it was something like, how do your family feel when you walk in the door? How do you think your family feel?
That's right.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah. Like, some of our videos have had over 500,000 views, some of these videos, and not one media outlet has reached out. Not, you know, it's not a story that media likes to cover.
Get on the ABC, have a chat on the radio about the Lighthouse.
Yeah, it's like, I'm not going away. I will not stop this. I will keep screaming at the top of my lungs with this. But I'm only one voice. Like, and like I said, I literally have thousands of messages from women who are trapped in this situation now, and we need help. We need people to stand up and help us with this. Like, we
don't need a
to
politician to go on the news after the fact.
That's right. What is
What
that?
about now?
That's right.
What about now?
That's
and
right.
then now.
Exactly.
Constantly.
And I want to support women with the same thing. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, I want to help them because there is no plan. Like, you may wake up one morning and go, okay, this is the day, but then something happens and you're trapped again.
Oh, yeah.
And I want to be there to be able to support, make those plans, help these women get through.
This is what they need because
Yeah.
they don't know,
Yeah.
especially if they don't have a job, or
Yes.
he's convinced them that it's their fault, or like he's going to hurt the children, or he's going to take the children.
Yes.
There is, I'll hurt your family, like you say. I'll hurt your dog. There are so many words that they use.
Yeah, to trap you.
You know, I will ruin you financially. I will tell everybody that you are a piece of shit and you did this to me. There are so many.
And this is why a lot of women stay, because they feel that there's no other option but to stay and
They're
be
emotionally
miserable.
tortured.
Yeah,
All for the kids.
Yeah, or for the children.
it's got to be for them.
He's a good father.
yeah, no.
He's a great father and he's a great son to his family. Takes care of his parents.
It's not.
That's why we try and teach. Like, I've created a few resources. It's not about, like, you know when the relationship's broken and you know that you need to get out, but you can't just do it in the heat of the moment and when the fight's happening.
Planning.
'Cause he's prepared for this and he'll use all these tactics on you.
Yeah.
So it needs to be planned, and we've built resources to teach women how to do it calmly, do it when it's not in a fight. Like,
Yeah.
you slowly start getting your finances sorted, getting your paperwork sorted,
Yeah.
getting all your documents, getting everything sorted, plan a safe place where you can go, build some support around you. And that's why in the Lighthouse we're trying to get all these places and organisations where people start having options. Like, they can, okay, someone that can help them get their documentation together, somewhere they can go. Like, the amount of, I forget what it was, I think it was 50,000, I said it yesterday, but there was a ridiculous amount of women got turned away from refuges. Like, the amount of women
nowhere to go.
that fled and then got turned away, and their only option was to
Go
sleep
back.
in the car or go back.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
we're trying to build a structure for women so then they don't have to stay in these situations.
You guys are amazing.
Thank
Thank you so much for coming and sharing all of, firstly, your stories. Your stories will be resonating with so many. And then for the Lighthouse, thank you.
Thank you for having us on and getting the message out there for us.
We really appreciate
We
you,
do
Belle.
appreciate you. Yeah.
Thanks for listening to Once Upon a Real Life with Belle. Don't forget to visit alphasport.com.au with your special discount code BELLE10 for 10% off Actiflex pain relieving gel. My name's Belle. See you on the next episode.